All right. Peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, can we take a few moments to talk about everything going on with the Supreme Court nomination process and Kavanaugh and a lot of the outrage towards Susan Collins and everything like that? And if you followed my last video, I pretty much said that I thought he was going to be put on, and if he wasn't going to be put on, they'd just get somebody 10 times worse and put him on instead. And pretty much, I hate to be like that Debbie Downer told you so person, but even this morning on Twitter, I had said, because a lot of people were really holding out for Susan Collins because they thought she was going to be the one to, save the day. And I kept saying, no, don't get excited about Susan Collins. Like, Susan Collins is going to pull a Susan Collins and vote yes. Like, please don't get your hopes up for Susan Collins. And then what happened? Susan went right up in there and was like, yep, okay. And not only did she say yes, she gave y'all a whole 30-minute speech about why. I was like, ooh. And so here's the thing, because people thought, Susan Collins, she'll understand because she's a moderate and she's from Maine. And, Maine is this great, happy place where you can get lobster. And Sarah Plain and Tall, the book that you had to read in elementary, it takes place in Maine. And they have the nice, tall, grassy fields. And it's a great place to go in the summer. And, of course, she's a woman. And with everything going on with Dr. Ford and, the sexual misconduct allegations against Kavanaugh, Susan Collins as a woman is not going to allow somebody who has that much weight over their head to be put into the Supreme Court, the highest honor of the judicial system. And I'm kind of like, listen, not to go there, but Susan Collins is the white women what Ben Carson is the black folks in a way. So it was like, and if you follow her voting patterns, you knew exactly what she was going to do. She's endorsed and supported all the other nonsense that's happened in the last 2 years. So why do you think all of a sudden, because, there's a person accusing, Kavanaugh of sexual assault and everything like that was going to change her mind? These politicians are bought out. They're not here for the interests of the people. So no matter how many rallies people have, no matter how many times y'all corner these people in the elevator or stop them in the restaurants or yell out shame at their press conferences or kumbaya, we shall make you walk while they're trying to get on the subway and stuff like that, they're not here for you. In their pockets are lobbyists, CEOs, corporations. Like, those are the people they take care of first. We're collateral. We're the last minute, bottom tier, whatever is left in the barrel. We'll get to them when we get to them. Like, these people are securing their pockets. They're also securing the legacies they have for themselves and their families. They're not worried about us. And that's because you have money inside of politics. And until you can take money out of politics, these kind of things are going to happen. And when I say these things, because I don't want people to think that I'm saying this just because there's another conservative going to the Supreme Court. What I'm saying is, you saw the outrage of the people. You saw what the people asked for, and you saw the people get ignored. And you saw them kind of override the people and go right into whatever else that they were doing. And that's not the first time that's happened. You watched it with the tax law and everything like that. You've watched it with these tons of laws that have been taking place. You watched it with them stripping away pieces of the civil rights bill. You've watched what's happened with the gerrymandering. You've watched what's happened with the voter disenfranchisement. You've watched what's happened with the abortion conversations. You've watched what's happened with the healthcare conversations. You've watched what's happened with the affirmative action conversations. You've watched what's happened with all of the entitlements towards the poor as far as things like SNAP and WIC and subsidized housing and affordable housing. Like, you've watched all of that happen. You've watched that as far as benefits for people who have children with special needs. You've watched that as far as the pipeline, the little oil pipeline all y'all were fighting over. You watched it as far as the conversations around climate change. And every single time you watch the people go out in droves. I mean, they're camping out. Folks out there protesting until 4 a.m. and now they late to work because they overslept, and now they getting the pay doc. So now they don't have enough money to buy their daughter to dress for homecoming. So the daughter's pissed off because she got to wear the dress she wore to church on Easter, and it doesn't fit the same way because she grew a little bit. So now the dress don't fit the same way, and now she pissed off because the pictures didn't turn out good. And so you've seen it happen over and over and over and over, where pretty much these people that we've somehow elected to represent us don't represent us. They don't represent the interests of the people. They represent the interests of the lobbyists and everybody else who has a stake in the game. And really, unless you have money, you're not going to make any kind of change in these politics. So literally, I've said this before. I did a video one time talking about why I'm not really a big fan of protesting. But again, until you can affect commerce, there's no conversation with any of these people who claim to represent us. If you're not affecting what's in their pocket, they're not going to listen. And so I feel like the way that people have to get through to a lot of these people in charge, in addition to voting them out if they're not doing their job, is you got to get in their pockets. And so sometimes that means not even directly them, but maybe you need to boycott some of the corporations that are supporting them. So maybe you need to pretty much affect the revenue source that's, feeding the different groups or the different organizations or the different CEOs and everything like that keep these people making the decisions that they make. Because I can guarantee you, Susan Collins probably had a backdoor deal. I just feel that she already was going to vote yes anyway. And I'm seeing reports and stuff about, she might have had one. And it reminds me, like Rachel Maddow was talking about that earlier, the Alan Dixon from Illinois, who pretty much he already made a backdoor deal with George Bush #1 with the Supreme Court nominee, saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead and whoever you put out there, I'm going to vote yes on. And so he was already down the ride. And of course, the Clarence Thomas stuff happened, and that was before he made the deal, or that was after he had already made the deal. But he was like, well, I said I'll vote him in. And so, hey, it kind of messed up his political career. He lost after that. But, these people make all kind of backdoor deals and stuff like that. And it reminds me, like, when I was an undergrad at Howard, and because I used to be a political science major, and then I shifted it to my minor and majored in something else. But I used to always have to go to the Rayburn building, which is one of the buildings where you see a lot of the congressmen and women doing work. And the coolest thing is, under all those buildings, they have a whole tunnel system that can get them to all the buildings, so they don't have to go out in the public and get cussed out by people and eggs and rocks and stuff thrown at their heads, or they don't have to deal with traffic and stuff. And so when you're in the tunnel, you'll see some politicians who are from two totally different extremes just high-fiving and laughing and having a good time. I'm like, wait, weren't y'all just cussing each other out in the chamber a minute ago? Okay, I'm not saying y'all don't have to be friends or anything, but I just assume that, maybe you, I don't know, interesting, okay. I'm not saying that you can't be somebody's associate because y'all disagree on a few things, but, it would be like if y'all saw me taking a picture with Donald Trump and smiling. Y'all would probably cuss me out like, wait a minute, you talked all this trash all these years, and that's who you rolling with? Okay, we see you. But yeah, these people are bought out. But yeah, it's interesting. They're just not for the people. And I think a lot more people who are just in society have to recognize that a lot of you guys have gifts. A lot of you guys have a voice and you're talented, and use it. Go into politics. Change things. Figure out some grassroots kind of fundraisers and get a foot in the door. Because a lot of people are just intimidated by politics and feel that they're not worthy enough. And I'm like, you think you're not worthy enough and you see who's in charge? Really? And I'm not just talking about Trump. I'm talking about the whole Congress. Like, literally, most of them. Like, there's so many people who have a great way of just putting together ideas and doing things that are for the people. And those are the people you need in office. Like I said, we're in an oligarchy right now where everything is in the hands of a few people. And those people aren't here for the interests of the people. And I think people just got to really step out. Now, sometimes y'all always ask, well, why don't you run for politics? Listen, I'm not going to win because the minute they find my YouTube channel, it's over for me. They're going to dig up all my stuff and they're going to think I'm some crazy shoot up and kill the man type person. I already see that happening. Plus, since I already work directly in the community, I like the scope in which I work, like, because I can see the direct effect of my efforts. Like, I like that realm. Politics, I don't think is for me, which is why I changed my mind as far as being a political science major when I was in college. But yeah, there definitely has to be a refresh button on how we run things around here. It's a lot. And then again, this isn't something new under the sun. People should have been paying attention since the 2010 midterms about what's been happening. 2010 midterms, 2012 election, 2014 midterms, 2016 election. Like, this stuff has been building, and it's not just something new under the sun because every administration has had corruption during their era. But the stuff we're witnessing now is just it's like a movie. Just like, wow, it's crazy what's going on. Like, are we in the Twilight Zone? Am I really watching this thing go down? Because now, like, especially with the GOP, like, they just don't even care. They just do whatever they want, and it is what it is. They go to sleep good. They go home and sleep good every night. And again, like I said, these politicians, half of them don't even work most of the time. They work, a third out of the year? And then even when they're finally out of recess, because most of them don't even live in the states where they represent. They have properties there, but most of them live out here by me. They're in D.C., Maryland, Virginia. And so you'll go to a restaurant, and you'll see different politicians, and they're just living their best life, eating good. Mind you, their state is over there falling apart. The schools and the teachers are out there protesting. People ain't got clean water. They eating 3 meals, the full course meal, paying for everybody at the table, eating good. Now I'm over here trying to budget. I should have been in this restaurant knowing I couldn't afford it. I'm over here piecing the meal together with the sides and ordering water and lemons. Fine, thank you. And I'm watching them just eat good, eat real good, and they ain't doing nothing in their state. Whole state falling apart. Okay, and then like when the session's over or the recess, Congress goes into recess. Instead of them going back to their home state and doing the town halls and figuring out what's wrong, where do they go? They go to the Bahamas. They go to the Alps to go skiing in July. These are the people that we've elected, unfortunately. I didn't put them in. A lot of y'all put them in. But I don't know. But I think there just has to be changes. I think money has to be taken out of politics. And until you can do that, it's always going to be corrupt people in charge. And like I said in the last video, some of these people have been in office for so long, 30, 40, 50 years. They're just there. They're old. They're senile. They ain't even got their head straight on anymore. And they're still the ones making the decisions for all of us. And I think that's the thing that kind of worries a lot of people, because it's like You have people who are, 80 years old making decisions for the country that will affect the country for the next 80 years. Mind you, they won't be here to see none because, again, they 10 heartbeats away from the casket. So, y'all got to think about it. Even like with the current president, I think one of the reasons he probably sleeps good at night, messing up everything, is because he ain't going to be here to have to suffer. He'll be dead in 10 years anyway. And even if he's not, he's rich. He'll be all right. He can support himself with no, hell, I don't know if every country in the world decides they want to nuke the United States because they're sick of our shit and they want to blow us up. I'm sure he has enough money to go get him a bunker in Saudi Arabia and be just fine, or in Russia. Now the rest of us, we gonna see the great white flash and that's it. But anyway, I ain't trying to scare y'all or nothing. But I don't know. I just think a lot of people, y'all gonna have to come through in November. If you're tired of what's going on, you feel like your voice is being ignored, you got to come through. And really, it's not just the senators and the governors. You got to really get into those local elections because, I'm talking about county supervisor, county sheriff, the school board, the council members. Like, those are the positions that are important because if you can put in enough of the right people in those positions, you don't have to worry about things going to the appellate courts and then going to something like the Supreme Court that a lot of you are now terrified of. You know what I mean? Do the work on the ground level so that you have the right people in place. That way, things don't have to make it up to the people who aren't really doing what it is, that's in the best interest of the people. And I think that's the issue I have with Kavanaugh. I really think by him being there, that seals the deal for a lot of the wants and needs that corporations want. I don't see him really being for the people. I'm sure he knows how to interpret the law very well and everything like that, but I see him being in the hands and the pockets of all the wrong people, and it's not going to be for the people as usual. You know what I mean? But like I said, y'all really got to come through on that midterm election and on a local level, not just the House and the Senate, but really the local level as well. Really making sure that you got the right people in there, because really the local level is where you can still kind of regulate things before the money doesn't get too big. Once you get to that Congress and the governor and all that, like the governorship, that's when the money gets really big and it's really harder to fight against something because you're bought out or you're outbought. You know what I mean? And then they're bought out. So it's a lot. It's a lot to think about. It's a crazy time we're living in, isn't it? Interesting. We'll see how this turns out. Anyway, that kitchen back there, I'm about to throw down. I got all my food ready. Like, I went to the grocery store when I came home, and how you just have a meal in your head that you wanted to prepare. So I done bought all kind of seafood. I'm about to get it in. So I'm gonna go and cook my stuff. I'm gonna eat my dinner, and then I'm gonna do my little studio stuff, and then I'm gonna binge watch everything I missed on How to Get Away with Murder, and then maybe we'll do another video tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.